Hello, and today I will be discussing the gender pay gap, and in doing so, helping you form your own educated opinion about the matter. I can do this by showing you research I have made on stats from numerous sources. In hearing me, I ask you to consider where the sources are from for potential bias. Most importantly are the stats. This shows us facts and helps us create a correct and informed opinion about the matter of the wage gap. I pulled this information from the official UK site, therefore it should have no bias. I have two newly relevant stats on this slide showing us that the gender pay gap is reducing and has done roughly 18% to 15% within the last year. Also, shockingly, a stat is that the gap is next to zero for ages under 40, part-time work, and for older years it goes up by 10%. This shows us that the gender pay gap is closing over the last few years. We know that currently the UK gap is 7.4% for part-time work, which is still quite a difference considering that we're all humans, or are we looking at the stats in the wrong way? Other considerations to make when considering the gap is that is such a large gap only based on discrimination, or is there other ways of explaining some of it, such as occupations genders work, causing men to work harder and more dangerous life-threatening work. This is shown as a 5.7 out of every 100,000 men die, whereas only 0.6 out of every 100,000 women die at work. This means that men are 5 times more likely to die with their work, so there is expected to be a gap, but anywhere near 10% is still way too big of a gap to be equal. But in recent years, the reduce could reflect that the different stereotypes and types of work are becoming more equal, therefore we getting less of a gap, and it's fixing over time. Problems arise when we seem to have an unfair system, rightly so, as legally this is direct discrimination against the other gender under the right context, and economically this difference in pay means that women usually have to rely on welfare more statistically. To fix the gap we could straight up pay women more, but if it was that easy it wouldn't be an issue. Or is it that easy? By catching the gap at its source, where the discrimination is, we could probably greatly reduce the gap, doing this by creating stricter rules and regular checks on regulations on all registered businesses. Catching the issue at its source. Also, equally as fair it is to encourage work from home, especially now in the pandemic we have all learnt to do that in some form or the other. Also, men taking childcare leave. This would greatly reduce any discrimination against bonuses or hiring opportunities. Just a little glimpse on how good things could be. This example is Iceland, and it's the leading country for the best or smallest wage gap, showing that it can be done. We just need to have a look at what other rules there are and how it can be successfully reduced. Therefore, to conclude, my chosen solution is ultimately a greater set of very strict rules that we can implement and check regularly for businesses to be following, and this would crack down on the discrimination, the source of the difference, and greatly reduce it over time.